everyone, this is Audrey. Welcome back to the Date Night Show podcast. Make sure you guys are following if you are listening to us on Spotify, and make sure you are subscribed if you are watching us on YouTube. We are uploading every Saturday, and hopefully we will try to keep that consistent. Also, we've gotten a new mic today, so hopefully you guys like the audio a bit more, because I realized that last episode it was a bit quiet. And also, if you want to submit any advice questions, you can email us at datenightshowpod@gmail.com. It's also listed in our Instagram bio and in our YouTube description. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well at DNS Podcasts, so that you can interact with us there and you can get involved in our polls and stuff like that. And that's it. Enjoy the episode. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Date Night Show podcast. It's Audrey and Daniel here.
Yep.
And we have a name now. Let us know what you think of our name. Jasmine, one of our friends, says she really likes the name. So that's good, because it literally took us 30 minutes. No, longer than that to think of it. Definitely longer.
Basically a day.
Basically a day. It took us like a whole day to think of a name.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it's a good name. Anyways, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about toxic friendships, which is kind of different from our first episode. Actually, our first episode was a little bit all over the place because we thought we could be able to talk a lot. You know, we didn't realize that 45 minutes, you can't really talk about that much, honestly.
Yeah.
So today we've learned from our last episode, and we are going to be talking about toxic friendships. Toxic relationships overall is like the bigger umbrella, but specifically we want to talk about friendships, because me and Daniel have both had experiences with toxic friendships, and I'm sure a lot of people have, and sometimes it can be really hard to navigate that, especially if that friend is like your only friend, or like or a really close friend, you know. And it's hard to like confront them or cut them off, but yeah. Thank you, Marfi, for suggesting. By the way, if you guys want to suggest any topic ideas, go to our Instagram page. It's just DNS Podcast, and you can interact with us there. All right. So Daniel can start us off.
I think we can first start off with how we want to define it, you know? So then, what would some people define toxic friendships as? Mm-hmm. What some people might not realize is like they might be in a toxic friendship, or they might have a toxic friend, or they might be the toxic person.
Yeah, true.
In that friendship.
Sometimes you don't realize it when you're being toxic.
Yeah. And then like, you know.
So what does it mean to be a toxic friend for you?
For me, to be a toxic friend, it really is just being a toxic person. If you're a toxic friend,
but what are some qualities that are like toxic, you know?
That's a hard question, because I wouldn't think about it.
I'll answer that for you. People who are overbearing, so like controlling. Like, for example, when you want to hang out with other friends, they're like, "Can I come? Am I invited? Oh, if I'm not invited, then let's hang out somewhere else together." So very like controlling of who you hang out with, and I guess easily jealous. Like friends that are easily jealous when you find new friends.
Right. Okay.
That's the first one, controlling. Second, I would say flaky friends. So friends that are inconsiderate of your time and make promises but never show up for you. Or it doesn't even have to be like a hangout. It can just be like when you really need to like call them and they don't pick up, or they don't care, you know what I mean? Or
right.
you want to tell them about something and they're just preoccupied, and you really need them in that moment and they're just preoccupied.
Yeah.
That's the second one, flaky friends. And the third one I think would be fake friends. Friends that say something to your face and behind your back they say something else, you know? Those are the three most like common toxic traits I see with friendships, at least.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say like it's easily distinguishable between gender, but at least for me, right, what I realize is it's I wouldn't, even if someone had those traits, even if I had a friend that had those traits, I wouldn't necessarily think of them as like a toxic friend, you know? Or maybe that's just me personally, right? So I wouldn't say like, oh, that's a guy thing, but maybe something that's more common amongst guys is like there's a lot of banter. Like, so even if you are kind of being a dick, kind of being an ass, you know, you are perhaps like undermining how they feel about certain things, and just like it's banter though, you know what I mean? Just joke around. Most of it's like what they say to each other is not like they don't mean it as much. You know, it's like, oh, shut up, dude. It's like that's okay because you're just your close friends, you know. But then like, could that become a habit that becomes more toxic, perhaps, or like over time it builds up into something more, you know, where they start controlling you and stuff, whatnot.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. No, even for girls, it's like that. So even if you're like in a friendship, sometimes it's hard to realize that you're in a toxic friendship, because a lot of things are just passed off as jokes.
Yeah.
You know, we're so close. That's why we say that shit to each other. You know, but I think there is a line. Like, it's a fine line, but you have to know each other's boundaries. You know.
Yeah.
Like, for example, let's call this person D for Dick.
D for Dick, okay.
It's we were both kind of friends with this person in the past. Daniel was more closer to him. Is it fine if I just say his gender? That is fine, right?
Don't think that matters.
Yeah, closer to him. What did I say? D for Dick, right? Okay, D. So let's just call this person D. He was very aggressive, and sometimes, like, so are some of your friends, to be fair, in high school. A lot of guys do be like that.
Yeah.
But he was aggressive in a different way, where it felt like anytime you had something positive to say, he will, first instinct is to say something negative as a joke, but is it really a joke? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think when someone can't like take, you know, like the other person's feelings into consideration when they say stuff, it's not great. You know what I mean?
And it's also,
if that person thinks they're being funny too, it's the worst. You know, like they respond as a joke, as a negative joke, like you said, but it's just not funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like not the right time. You know, like sometimes when you're really happy about something, like for example, I achieve something really big, let's say, and I go to this friend and I tell them, oh, something really great just happened to me, and they're like, oh, Lamau, that's cringe. You know, something like that.
That's not even a friend at that
immediately you get uncomfortable and you're like, haha. Is he just
right,
saying
it's like,
that?
how do you respond
like,
to
are
that?
they just saying that because we're so close? But at the same time, it would be nice for some acknowledgement that I did well. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how close you are, there's still moments where you need to be sincere with each other.
That's actually the worst if like you don't get that much positive reinforcement at home, for example.
Yeah.
Let's say you don't have like the greatest, happiest, most like wholesome family.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people go through that. I mean, come on, like we went through that ourselves, right?
Not a lot of parents are supportive, to be fair.
Yeah, to be fair, like not everything you do they'll support, for example, right? And so you turn to your friends. Who's gonna give you positive? Your therapist? No one's gonna go to a therapist for like compliments from a person. No, you go to your friends, right? And then your friends giving you negative reinforcement wouldn't be great. Yeah, right. You know, and if they're only giving you negative reinforcement, then that's not even a friend, really, is it? If they're only saying like Lamau cringe at everything you do, I mean, you can't even respond to that.
But D, the person D, was kind of like that.
Right, I get what you mean.
And another thing is, it really matters where they're coming from. Like, what is their intention? You know, is their intention to make you laugh? I don't think so. Like, if for example, if you come with an achievement and they say something really mean to shoot you down, I think they're just jealous of you.
Right.
You know? And if you want to be a really good friend, like genuinely connect and be a good support system to your friend, you would never put your own needs first. Like, when I see my friends succeeding, I'm never thinking, damn, I didn't do that much this week. That's so annoying. Like, they're doing better than me. I always think that's so great. Like, they're doing great things in life. They're moving forward. You know, you want to see your friends do good things. But if you're a friend that when you see other people, like your friends, doing better things than you, and you feel angry or you feel jealous, then that's definitely a sign that you're being toxic.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
You know, because it's like, you're not happy with yourself. That's why you're putting it out on others.
That's a really good point, because if that person has their own insecurities or like their own problems to do with their ego or whatever, they tend to try and like, when other people are succeeding and doing well, and even if that person themselves, they themselves are also doing great, you know, like they're not doing bad, but they need to undermine their friend's success
Yeah.
and their friend's achievements
Yeah.
just to make themselves feel a little better. But that
Feel a
could
little
just be an
better.
assumption too. Maybe it's just like their personality.
And
Maybe
a
they
lot
have
of
a
the
trauma.
times,
But
no, I don't think so. A lot
yeah,
of the times,
probably not.
a lot of the times, not only do they like have bad intentions, a lot of times they don't realize it. Like in their head, they think they're just making a joke. You know, let's say they're like saying that, and then you confront them. You're like, why are you being so mean? Like, are you jealous of me? They would never admit, because they don't even believe it themselves. They can't even reflect on their own feelings because it's so subconscious. You know, like some people really, they don't think about, like, they don't reflect on their own actions enough. So it just lies deep within their subconscious. So even if you bring it up to them, they would never believe you. Like, you tell them, are you jealous of me? Like, why are you reacting this way? They'd just be like, take a chill pill. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'd be like, what do you mean? Like, I am happy for you, but like, that wasn't that cool. You know? They'd just be like, oh, like, I don't know, grand prize is not that great. I've done that before. You know? Sorry guys. Had to take a shit break real quick, but we're back. Anyways, you were saying, Daniel?
What was I saying, baby?
You were moving on to the second part.
I said I think that's a good transition towards talking about confrontations. You know, confronting your friends is not an easy thing. Some people might not even want to confront anyone, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, just confrontation is just not your thing. And I totally understand that, because a lot of people feel that way. And I personally felt that way for a long time. You know, confronting something about like certain facts that you feel or certain emotions that you feel. But I think that's really important. You know, you have to overcome toxic friendships in some certain areas where you have to be open, you have to be honest, you have to be transparent with them. And if they're not going to take that seriously or they don't reflect on it, then obviously they're not worth your time. You know, that's probably
you can't always look at it at both sides. You know, you can't want them to change and also not confront them.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So like if you do want to actually like make that friendship work, or like you want to better your life by not having toxic friendships or not as many, then you do have to confront them about it at times.
And the thing is, toxic friendships doesn't mean that person is toxic forever.
Yeah, definitely
like I mentioned
not.
earlier, you know, like I mentioned earlier, some people are just insecure. They don't realize it. And some people are willing to change if you tell them how you feel about it, and they realize, you're right, I have been a bad friend. You know, maybe I should stop doing that. I didn't realize I was hurting your feelings. I didn't realize what I was doing was annoying you, was actually making you trust me less, was making you want to hang out with me less. But now that I know those things, I of course still want to be your friend, so I'm gonna try and work on myself.
Yeah.
That is the best outcome you want from confronting someone. But also, of course, there is a possibility that that person that you're confronting completely disagrees with you and in fact feels hurt that you're confronting them. They're like, how could you ever think that I would do such a thing?
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I'm not saying you did that to me on purpose. I'm just saying this is how I feel from it. And they're like, nah, you're just overreacting.
Right.
I've done nothing wrong.
Right.
So a lot of them will just deflect.
That's probably a very common occurrence.
And that is a sign to just cut them out.
Bye, bitch. No, yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, just because you have like toxic traits and you approach your friendships in a certain way doesn't mean that you're a toxic person and you're gonna stay that way. I think like it's important to realize, like, on the receiving end too, like you have to be aware that, like, okay, my actions have consequences, and also like what kind of actions do I do that might hurt their feelings. Because friendships are kind of similar to relationships in a sense, because it's a team game. If you're both not on the same page, then it's probably not going to work out very well. And people probably don't think of that as much.
Yeah, people really like forget, like they don't put as much effort into their friendships just because I don't know why. I mean,
there are definitely friendships where you can survive and you guys can still thrive without having to like communicate all the time, you know? And let's say you have.
But that's if you guys have a really healthy friendship.
Yeah, true. If you had toxic traits within your friendships, then you probably wouldn't like communicate. Like you wouldn't go on for a while. Yeah,
you're just living with it.
Like you leave high school, you're not gonna see them again. You know what I mean? Like it's
No, like active friendships though. I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah. If it's still active, then yeah, you wouldn't talk to them that much. You know.
Yeah, it's either that or you confront them.
Yeah, And I think what a lot of people do, where they like realize their friends are not that great, or like their friends are kind of toxic a little bit, and they know that, you know what I mean? They're just too scared to like say it. They don't want to make it awkward, and like you said, they don't want to be judged by, you know, for example, their friend might be like, what are you saying?
Yeah, they're scared of their friend's reaction. But here's the thing, right? If you are on the receiving end and you feel like your friend is being toxic or hurting you in any way, it doesn't even have to be so extreme as toxic, you know? Just like any little thing, you can bring it up with your friends. Like, it doesn't have to be like, I'll just live with it, you know? Like, it's the same as any relationship. What I'm saying is you shouldn't like allow that fear of how your friend is going to react stop you from telling them how you feel, because how they react is not a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of who they are. So if they're gonna call you a bitch, or they're gonna be like, you're so unappreciative, or you're just like overreacting, you know, if they're gonna say those things to you, then you know what kind of person they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? So you shouldn't let that fear of like, oh fuck, what if my friend hates me after this? Like, if I tell them this, they're gonna hate me. Because I've felt that way before. I've definitely felt that way.
Right.
I've definitely felt like scared to tell my friends how I feel about certain things, because I feel like they would think I'm being stupid, or they would be like, oh my god, Audrey is so petty. You know, I'd be scared that they would feel those things about me. But the thing is, most of the time, if they're good friends and I tell them how I feel, they're always understanding. They're like, oh my god, good thing you told me. Now I know. I never knew you felt that way. It's good that I know now. And then from there you can move forward and everyone's happier. Because you've expressed yourself, your friends know how you feel, and they're willing to change. Or like, they're willing to just adjust. Sometimes it's not even as drastic as change. It's literally just adjust a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like...
So don't stop yourself from telling your friends how you feel about some of their actions or how they've hurt you, just because you're scared of what they're gonna say. You know, they're gonna say whatever regardless. Ignore it. Like, if it's gonna be negative, then you gotta dump them. Like, dumping friends, so underrated. Like, just, you gotta cut those
cancel
friends out.
culture with your friends.
Cancel culture with your friends. Like, cancel those friends that are toxic. Like,
yeah, you can't be friends with everyone in the world. You just cannot.
You don't have the
that's
time,
not a bad thing.
No energy. Like, honestly, keeping a lot of friends takes up a lot of energy. You know, that's why you gotta choose your friends wisely. Is always what I think.
I think if you have like a healthy friendship cycle and you have friends that all like appreciate you and validate what you're feeling, your life is really good
and support you.
Yeah, your life becomes a lot better
because you have a strong support system.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. It's almost like a drug, you know. You're in this friendship and you just can't let go, but little do you know, subconsciously it's affecting you and how you feel and how you go about daily lives.
Like, you're talking about negative friendships now?
Toxic
friendships?
Having that like lifeline with your friends, you know. It's like, I can't let go, but you gotta let go of certain things, you know, if you want to better your life.
To be honest, I would say that I'm really good at like just cutting people out of my life, because I've done that with a few friends before, like really toxic friends. So I don't know why I'm so comfortable doing it. I just feel like if they're wasting my time, you know, they're not listening to what I'm saying about what they're doing that's hurting me, then clearly they don't care about me that much. And I only want people that really care and value my friendship to them, because I really care and value all my friendships. Yeah. So if they don't do the same back to me, then what is the point?
True. And if they're not gonna like, if you do open up about your feelings, or you do want to confront him on at least something, you know, and if you're scared that they won't receive it well, then that's that. Okay, honestly, if you don't react with some sort of positive reinforcement on the receiving end, you're just a dick. You're just a straight up dick. You gotta reflect on yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know that saying, that phrase where it's like,
or you're just really insecure.
Yeah, but if like you look around in your room, right, and you don't notice who's the bad guy in the room, then it's probably you. You know what I mean?
That's not a true saying.
So like in a friend, okay, yeah, no, that can't be good, because like, if you relate it to the toxic friendship thing, like if you look around your friendship group and you're like, oh, no one's toxic though, everyone's great, we all love each other, we have a great friendship, but little do you know, you're the asshole, you're the toxic one in the friendship group. No, okay, that probably won't be the case. Okay, you know what, oftentimes that could though. You know what I mean? If you have a big friends group,
let's say
like at least more than 5 people in your big group, and you've been friends for like a long time. You know what I mean? And because of that reason, it's like, oh, I've been friends with him for like 10 years though. He knows so much about me. He knows my family. He knows my parents. I don't want to cut him out. I don't want to cut them out. I don't want to cut her out. It's like, oh, there's too much on the line. Like we know each other so much, and like it's just banter. It doesn't hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? When other people look at you and they're like, oh, like, but they're just saying this and this about you. Like, how do you feel about that? Because I don't feel that great when they say that to you, and they would just be like, oh, it's okay. Like I've known him for like 10 years. You know what I mean? Like that can't really be a great excuse over time if you think about it. You get older and older, right? You're gonna have great friends that you've been friends with for 10 years. After 10 years, when you meet good people, you know what I mean? Just because they've been friends with you for such a long time doesn't mean they're like your closest friends.
Doesn't mean anything. Time doesn't mean anything. You can meet people like I've met like some of my really good friends now. I met like 2 years ago. Because
you have a good chemistry with them. You click well.
Yeah.
And they're just not a dickhead about certain things.
And they're supportive, you know. They're good friends. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, but like, you know, I don't think they're being toxic. Well, like, maybe you just gotta wait until you find like actually a kind-hearted, good friend that cares about your feelings and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about is like how, you said earlier, I thought about it while you were saying how, if you don't think anyone else is toxic, you're probably the toxic one. I thought of this to rebut you. I think everyone has toxic traits in them. Everyone. Everyone has their own struggles, you know? Some people, they shut off, they don't communicate. Some people are really bad at showing up, you know? Some people are not good at taking criticism. Some people get jealous easily, you know? And those are the things that everyone has in them that is toxic to themselves. And because of that, it's like,
they spread it to other people too.
Yeah.
Right. I get that.
Yeah, that's not the word I was looking for, but yeah. Like...
Sprinkle.
No, it's like, because they are toxic to themselves, they, exude that toxicness to other people. You know what I mean? So regardless of whether or not you feel like your friends are toxic to you, always reflect on yourself first. Am I being a good friend? You know, am I communicating my feelings well?
Comes back to the diary thing. Right?
Diary from
reflect on yourself.
From episode 1, if you guys
write it on a diary.
Yeah, write in your diary, reflect on yourself for sure.
Or another good thing is like if you like if there are times where your close friend, or not your close friend, says something or does something and you don't feel too good about it. You don't feel too comfortable about what they did. And you're like, okay, I'll just let it go, you know, just let's let it slide. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that will probably like stack on over time.
Like if it keeps happening.
Yeah,
sure.
And so like what you can do to keep track of those things is write on a fucking diary. Write, you know, certain things that you felt that day, you know, who said what, and okay, that sounds kind of weird though, because it's almost like a death note, you know, oh, I'm gonna curse you. But like keeping track of like,
doesn't sound like a death note to me.
It doesn't. Okay, great. Because it sounds like something like a petty person might do. Like, friend A said this to me and I felt this way today, and then you keep tracking it every day.
You should keep track of how
you
know
feel.
What? Like,
I don't think it's petty.
I think it's only petty if it's like if
you're doing it for no reason.
Yeah.
If you're like pickpocketing.
If you're doing pickpocketing, okay.
Not pickpocketing, but like you're really nitpicking.
Okay.
You're nitpicking certain traits that you don't have to. You know what I mean? Like I mean, but the thing is like the whole concept of writing a diary is you only write it with a purpose. Like you don't write it just because you have to write it. It's not homework.
And don't write it out of like hatred. Don't be like, oh, I hate this person.
I mean, you could.
No,
you could.
That's when it gets petty.
Oh, okay.
Like if you're not gonna do anything about it. If you write it and you're like trying to figure out how you feel about it, or you're trying to like just remember how you feel about it. Basically, that should be the only reason. Because if you're writing it and you're burning inside,
that's a death note.
Then you might as well just tell them at that point.
Because
it's gotten too far. It's gotten too far, and you're really angry now. Then you gotta tell them. If you don't tell them, you're just gonna explode on them one day. True. You know.
And that's not great for like either party. Like for the receiving end, they're gonna be like, where's this storm coming?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's all this heat coming from, yo?
And then you start listing everything.
Yeah, and then you're like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna go off on your ass. And then on the receiving end, it's like, yo, what the hell is going on? Like genuinely, and that's not obviously not great
That's not
either.
good.
You know.
So honestly, if you're experiencing a little bit of tension and it's growing over time, just
And another really good thing
Speak up
is
right
like
away.
if you're afraid of confronting, if you're afraid of like speaking up, because that's a big thing that we're talking about here, right? Speaking up, being honest, being open. You know, you have to let them know. You got to be like really transparent with each other. Is another thing is like if people are innately not comfortable doing that, you know, you don't have to confront them if you're like really anxious about it. You know what I mean? There are other ways to approach that. And
Yeah,
personally,
drift away.
drift away is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you know that they're really bad for you and they make you angry or they make you annoyed or drained every time you meet up with them, just slowly stop replying to their messages, you know?
Yeah, no, what I was gonna say is like show them signs.
Yeah.
You know, show them signs that you feel a certain way or like you feel a certain vibe about the friendship. Like show signs. You don't have to like tell them straight up, I'm gonna list A, B, and C about why you're a dickhead. You can't do that.
No, you can. That's confrontation.
Okay, I mean as in like if you can't bring yourself to do that, right? Then you have to show signs so that they can understand.
Which is okay, by the way. Like some people, they're not comfortable enough with themselves yet to confront people, or they're really scared of losing the friendship. But I did mention earlier, like if they're a good friend, they wouldn't leave you or they wouldn't judge you just because of how you're feeling.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Honestly.
Because if they're gonna be like, if they condone like the crowd and be like, oh, look at this guy overreacting.
Yeah, but if you're still struggling,
Dickhead.
and it's more about you and not really about them, like you personally do not have the confidence to tell them how you feel, just drift.
Get a wingman or wing woman
No,
to
don't
say
do
it for
that.
you.
No, don't do that because that friendship circles like that, and you tell like I tell Daniel how I'm feeling about Sahil, and I secretly hate Sahil. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sahil. I don't hate you, but Sahil's one of our friends. But like, imagine
He's
I tell.
gonna unsubscribe right away.
Love you, Sahil. Anyways, if I tell Daniel that I hate Sahil, and I'm like, Daniel, you know Sahil's so fucking annoying. Like, I list you.
This is true, by the way. This is true.
I list you A, B, and C, and then what are you gonna do with the information? Tell him, and then he's gonna feel so uncomfortable. He's not gonna tell me straight up.
Yeah, that's another.
So it's actually not good to make it into a circle.
Yeah,
just tell that person straight up.
When you
don't
bring,
get a wing woman.
Yeah, when you bring like other friends within that group into the picture,
don't do
and
that.
then like have them act as a bridge between
it's not. It's actually
your
not
conflict
good.
zone.
It's actually not good.
That's probably gonna make it worse. You know, it's the same thing as like when we argue, for example, and then you like bring like Jasmine or someone in, like your close friend, into the circle and be like, oh yeah, this and this happened.
Yeah,
but then it's like
it's childish. Don't do that.
It's our business. You know, we can work it out on our own terms.
And also, like, what is that medium person gonna do? Like, for example, if I really did have a problem, okay, we're gonna go back to the Sahil example.
Yeah.
Like, let's say I really have a problem with Sahil. Okay, this is not true, by the way. Okay, but then I tell.
This is a true story. This is a true story.
Stop. And then I tell Daniel, and then Daniel tells Sahil. Sahil tells Daniel back. And what if in the middle Daniel misunderstands and he tells me something else? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's easy to have misunderstandings when you drag someone else into the like formula. Just tell that person straight up. Like, why are you bringing in like a love triangle?
Better yet, I'll give you like a legitimately real scenario of what's gonna go down if that happened. If you and plus like that's a great example because I'm in a real jiffy there. You know what I mean? I'm squeezed between you two, where it's like one of my best friends and then it's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do about it? You know, how can I give logical advice or help to like either party? I can't because I'm emotionally entangled with both relationships. You know what I mean? And also another
so you're
thing
just
is
messing with another person's mental health.
Yeah, and to be honest, this is a real scenario where we'll go down. I can't give like that many shits. You know, I've got my own shit going on in my life, and then like two people start having tea. I'm just gonna be like, oh, I would love to just get popcorn and sit back, not be the one in the stage performing with you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And plus, like, I don't want to.
It's none of your
Like,
business.
if for example, you tell me about like how much you hate Sahil, which is a real scenario.
It's not a real scenario.
A real story, and it
Stop.
happened. And I have to like deliver that kind of message. Or have to confront Sahil for you, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna deliver it in the same way or the same manner or the same tone. All of those things matter a lot.
Yeah.
Your tone, your facial expressions, your delivery, you know, your speech, everything matters. So you yourself not delivering is not gonna be as effective.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
gonna
gonna
be miscommunicated.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm just gonna be like, oh, she feels this way, bro. Best to do something about it. That's it. You know, I'm not gonna give too many information, and then Sahil's just gonna be like, okay, yeah, I'll apologize. I'll do something about it. I'll reflect on it, and then that's really it. But then like, if the outcome is just like that, it just fizzles out, then did we really achieve the outcome? Are you really happy, like getting all your message across? I don't think so, to be honest.
Not really.
Probably not.
Yeah. So always just go directly to the person. If you really want someone else to be there, like you should all three of you sit down together and you because sometimes let's say that relationship is really important to you, let's say this is another not real scenario, but let's say me, Jasmine, and Shannon, my two best friends, we sit down and I'm pissed at Jasmine, but I'm so angry that I can't I'm scared that if it's just me and Jasmine, I might just start yelling at her, So I bring Shannon in, I tell her about how I feel, and she knows. She's just sitting there and she's like, so, Audrey, tell Jasmine how you feel. And I tell Jasmine how I feel. And then Jasmine's like, yeah, but... And then Shannon's like, no, Jasmine, you gotta let Audrey finish first. So that kind of mediator, I think, is more understanding. But you cannot not be there and just tell Shannon, just tell Jasmine, I'ma leave, no.
Yeah, that's like making someone do your homework for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's okay to have a mediator sometimes, but don't bring them in just to deliver your message.
They're not food panda. They're not gonna just deliver.
Yeah, they're not food panda.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that. If you're gonna do that, at least tip them.
Food Panda sponsor us.
Yeah. Oh no, another thing I wanted to touch on was touch. I want to touch on reflecting on yourself. Because like you said, everyone probably has toxic traits within themselves, and I think that's very true. You can't always be like, well, I'm the good person in the group. There's nothing wrong with me. Usually, when you want to confront your friend about something, you could also reflect on yourself, write on your diary. Hey, maybe I can also reflect on some of the traits I have and some of the things I say, because definitely everyone has those phases. I've been a dickhead to a lot of my friends in the past, maybe even currently. Sorry, Sahil. But it's always good to reflect on yourself as well. I think that's a very important thing to discuss about. Self-reflection. So then some diary company needs to sponsor at this point. Come on, we're always talking about diaries, but they are important. Because then it's if someone asks you, well, how can I self-reflect?
Or you can talk to your partner about it, or talk to your mom about it.
Very
it
true.
Doesn't even have to be to your diary. You can just be like, oh, I've been feeling really, really, I keep exploding, or I keep getting really angry at my friends for no reason. Why do I keep doing that? And then you can figure it out, by talking with someone about it. And sometimes that's really helpful for me as well. Sometimes writing in your diary can be good, but another way that we can bring in is talk to your mom, talk to your boyfriend, talk to your girlfriend, or talk to your other friend that's not even part of the situation. But make sure you don't tell them to oh, can you relay this message to? No, just talk to them honestly about how you're feeling.
Just go to a beach. Sit with your toxic friend. Get a drink. Get a smoke, and just have a DMC. And I don't know, those moments where you have deep, meaningful conversations, it feels pretty nice afterwards. You feel like I've connected with this person on a more soulful level.
And you feel
I feel
even
closer.
Yes.
What guys should not be doing is or you try to shit about me, or then some kind of beef happened, or some kind of confrontation's going down. It's oh bro, let's just wrestle it out. Walk it off. It's we'll just wrestle it out. Oh, it's I'll punch you in the stomach and it will be good. Okay, no worries.
Oh my God.
Or it's shots on me, bro. Shots on me. It's all good. Just let it pass. That's probably not a great thing.
That's not solve anything.
Yeah.
What if you do it again? You
wake up and you're oh, well, nothing's changed.
Nothing's solved. They're still the same person. You haven't gotten to the core of the problem. So honestly, talking it out is the best solution.
It is.
And reflecting on yourself, even talking.
Be true to your emotions.
Yeah, be true to yourself.
No need to suppress that. Especially in this day and age, it's all about self-actualization, isn't it?
Being honest with yourself, being honest with others. Yeah, if you're not honest with yourself, then you're never gonna be able to give your honest truth to other people, because you don't even realize it. It's deep within your subconscious. Honestly, 70% of our thoughts are in our subconscious. I think this is a fact. I don't know. Don't
not scientifically proven.
Okay, yeah, but I've read it somewhere. But anyways, don't quote me on that, but what I'm trying to say is like a lot of the things you don't like realize it about yourself because it's deep within your subconscious. So you got to bring it out. Like, why do I always do these things? There's a reason. You know, there's a reason why you're doing these negative traits, or you're acting like this in certain times to your friends, or there's a reason why your friends are acting that way to you. And sometimes you bring it up to them and they don't really know why. So you gotta talk it out. Okay, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening. This is gonna be the end of our podcast, and this is our second episode. We've made it this far.
Great. Yeah, thanks for listening and watching, like you said.
Yeah, if you've listened up to this point, make sure to go to our Instagram and comment a dolphin emoji.
No, and another thing is like it's tremendously helpful when people lay down some topic ideas. Yeah. Because there are a lot of things we can talk about, but we do want to talk about things that people want to listen to.
If you're watching on YouTube, comment some suggestions.
Genuinely.
Of what you want us to talk about. Also, now you can email us if you have any advice questions. So our email is in our Instagram bio and also in our YouTube description. So go check that out and email us if you have any, like, it can be the longest story. Like, my friend did this to my other friend and I cannot believe that happened, and then my boyfriend...
I'd be so down to read it.
My boyfriend cheated on me 6 times with 3 girls. Like, it can be the longest, juiciest story.
Oh my god, that'd be fun,
and we will solve it for you,
we probably wouldn't be able to solve it.
Definitely not.
But, you know, hey...
we can talk about it,
If our shitty advice
advice
and conversation matters to you in any remote way, then... I'm sure to that person it'll be helpful. So send that shit over. And it'll be like a whole story. I mean, that'd be an interesting thing to talk about.
Let's build a community, you know, and like talk about all our fucked up relationships. There's a lot of fucked up relationships out there. We've all gone through it, you know. You're not alone.
You're not alone. Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys, and we'll see you in our next episode on Saturday. Don't forget, our uploads are every Saturday on Spotify and YouTube. Hopefully Apple Music soon. I'm trying to set that up. But also let us know how you think of our new sound quality, because we have a new mic today. And that will be all.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye.